the favorite player between all of them. I mean, I guess maybe I would give the extra Shinobu, but we're jumping into this and spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Golden Aura. We have the Canadian Protoss player, the red Protoss, representing Pigpan. It is AppleJuice. And spawning in the top left hand corner, going for a 15 opener. Okay, I imagine going for a 15 hatch. We have the Teal Zerg player from the Americas, representing Match We Know Esports. It is StarKiller. Let's go. Shinobu is my child. Fair enough. Okay, I assumed it was going to be a 15 hatch, but no, it is going to be a 15 spawning pool opener here out of StarKiller. Interesting. Now remember what I said earlier. StarKiller is traditionally, historically, a very aggressive player. Very aggressive here, even though we saw a reason for the aggression in the last series because Probe Scout was cannon rushing. Even if his opponent is playing standard, StarKiller is going to be in your face. He's going to be up on in your face. No safe space available. I don't. What am I getting? Personal space, that's it. No personal space whatsoever between you and StarKiller, and we'll see how aggressive we want to be. For now, it is a pool hatch gas opener. We are banking up those larvae, or that larva, getting into those initially 6 lings, I imagine. Yep, there we go. 6 lings are on the way, and the goal here is to move out across the map and to get on top of this pylon. Now, AppleJuice, ooh, no probe scout. Oh. There's no probe scout, which means AppleJuice does not have the wherewithal to know that he has to defend back at home, that he has to wall up, make sure the pylon is safe, go for a zealot first. AppleJuice is completely in the dark, and here come those lings. Now, this is not an all-in. We're droning up behind this, but because AppleJuice did not see this, because he didn't scout and recognize how late the hatchery was, there's no reason to wall up, and because there's no wall, this pylon is exposed. Uh-oh. The pylon is exposed. Lings, they get across the map. They're going for the pylon. We are going to be chronoing out that adept, but alas, it's going to be too little too late. The Lings, they have arrived, and they're going straight for the kill. Straight for the pylon. Adept is on the way. Can it finish in time? It's going to be close. Up. We're a couple of seconds away, and it looks like it will finish in time. Just in time. Pylon goes down. Denies. Warp Gate denies the second adept, but the first adept has arrived. And we'll eventually clean this up, but the damage has been done. Ooh, 1 probe goes down in the main, a 2nd probe goes down as well. This has been well worth it. We clean up the Lings, but so far a successful 15 pool. A successful pool first here from StarKiller. Getting a pylon, getting 2 probes, denying mining time, and keeping the adept busy, delaying the second adept and delaying warp gate. So much damage was done. And now back at home, StarKiller is expanding and droning. We're turning up to 23. We have our queens moving out. Interesting response here by AppleJuice. Okay, we have a robo being thrown down by the red Protoss player. With a robo opener, this could be for fast immortals, for an immortal based all-in. This could be for a bay, for something crazy like a disruptor drop or a colossus drop. I'm curious where AppleJuice is taking us. I'm curious. Meanwhile, in between the bases, Overlord does go for the dive. Diving into the main, does get a full scout, so StarKiller, he sees everything. This is enough of a tell to let StarKiller know we need an early Roach Warren. Not right now, but around 4:30-ish, sub 5 minutes. Ideally, we would want to throw down a safety Roach Warren to be safe and sound against early game aggression. StarKiller, he has a piece of the puzzle. Gateway Explosion is on the way. We are not going for the bait. That's a lot of gateways! This looks like a slow lot all-in. We've seen this before. This looks like an immortal slow lot all-in. There we go. We have the prism on the way. We only have 2 gases. We pulled out a gas as well. You can see very minimal gas income here from AppleJuice. It's a 2-base all-in. Looks like a slow lot 6-gate 2-base all-in here from AppleJuice. It's been a while since I've seen this. I think the last player I saw go for this build was Classic, maybe 2 months ago against Raynor. Did work. I mean, these slow lot all-ins, they come in and out of fashion, but they hit like a truck. They can really catch a Zerg player off guard, and did catch Raynor off guard not too long ago. But I'm assuming that that's the case here for AppleJuice just because of the lack of gas, but no, we are warping in Stalkers. Okay, we're barely able to afford the additional Stalker warp in, so it's going to be vanilla Stalkers here by AppleJuice. Interesting. I mean, if it was a charge all in, the gas that we were mining would have been spent on Immortals, not on these Stalkers. We wouldn't have preserved that, I should say. So, yeah, something very different. Now, here come the slow lots. So it's going to be vanilla stalkers with slow lots, no immortals. But instead, we have the stalkers as a backbone to the army. Pushing in. And here we go. Lings are being shut down. But alas, the roaches, they've already spawned in. We spoke about it earlier, but we scouted enough to get an earlier roach warren. Starkiller is ready for this. He shuts down the zealots. We have queens as well, gathering up energy for those transfuse. And Starkiller, he's perfectly safe and sound. He is perfectly safe and sound here. As AppleJuice is going to be dropping into the main. And he's going to threaten the Overlord back at home, getting into Immortals. I mean, now we're working towards Immortals and slow lots, but we missed our first timing. And this first push had to be the hardest. Had to hit the hardest, had to get the most done, and it didn't. And now AppleJuice is falling further behind. They're the slow lots to reinforce. Stalkers doing what they can. Lings, they get across the map to get a read on what's going on. They do confirm the army. And as long as they're able to build up a roach count, we should be okay. StarKiller, basically, he's confirming that there is an all-in. He's confirming that it is not safe to drone. StarKiller droning up to 41. That is just under 2 saturation. Only 3 gases, and we're just massing Lings and roaches. No Ravagers, bear that in mind. So force fields are going to be king. Otherwise, Ravagers will be able to shut down the force fields. Alas, there are none. That's my one criticism of this army, is it would have been great to have seen just 4 Ravagers, not too many. How good are the force fields? They do try to slice up the army, but the roaches, they're still within range. Lings, they do pull back. Lings are shut down. Starkiller has to back up, but at least he has slowed down the army. He has force fields to be spent. Energy was wasted here. I say wasted, was forced to be utilized. Starkiller backs up, amassing more Lings and more roaches. Roach speed is done thanks to the fast lair. There we go. Now we see the Ravagers on the way. I would have loved to have seen them before, but regardless, we're going to have them here for the next fight. We will be ready for it. This army from AppleJuice is just being outscaled. Again, the threat of this push would have been a minute, 2 minutes ago. Does feel like we have missed our timing. Moving out onto creep. It's all or nothing for AppleJuice. Starkiller. Ooh. Some friendly fire with the Biles. Force fields do slow down the Rich Ravager, but the Biles, they knock down the force fields. They're getting on top of the Immortals. The Immortals getting so low. And we do go for the dive. 1, 2 Immortals go down. Roaches from behind. The Queens, they come in to support, and we clean up the entire army. GG gets called, and Starkiller takes game number 1. Whew. GG. GG, well played. Again, Starkiller able to get a really strong start to the game and get a nice follow-up scout to let him know to play safe, to get the Roach Warren, to prioritize and to cut workers early at 41 drones. And with that, Starkiller was able to shut down the all-in. The first wave was meant to be the strongest and got shut down quite hard. And Starkiller was in control from that moment. Was in control. There was maybe a chance if Starkiller had droned, right? Like, if he had droned up too much, then sure, AppleJuice could have killed him, but Starkiller was playing very safely there. Very safely and likewise very aggressive. And with that, Starkiller takes a lead, but now we're getting ready for game number 2. And we'll see where this leads us. We'll see where this takes us. As the bracket is getting underway. Is getting underway. Just catching up in the chat. And again, thank you, Todish2 for the sub. Thank you again. Gracias. Team Mr. Sadsack did arrive first tonight, or this morning. Bienvenidos. Did arrive first. See Alfonso in the chat as well. ¿Qué tal? ¿Cómo estás? Iron Ring, welcome. And so far, there's no major updates here on the bracket, but we'll get there. We will get there. We'll be able to go over it. And we already have like our own matches lined up for us. We'll most likely focus on the lower half of the bracket. I would love to catch the potential Sort of versus Australia, or even Foxer versus Australia match later on down the line. Likewise, the potential Skillers versus Geralt is going to be amazing as well. Don't get me wrong. A lot of really good matches. A lot of really matches on the horizon, I should say. They're coming back. They're coming. But now we're settling in. And game 2 is going to be on Site Delta. Let's go. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Site Delta, we have our Canadian Protoss player, the Red Protoss representing the Pigpan. It is AppleJuice. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have the American Zerg player, the Teal Zerg, representing Matcherino Esports, once again going for the 15, I imagine, spawning pool. It is StarKiller. Now, we saw a gas extractor trick into a 15 spawning pool in the previous game, in game number 1, and are we seeing it here as well? Is the question. No, we are not. Okay, this time hatch first. I do appreciate it. I mean, Site Delta is a much larger map, has a longer rush distance, so it makes sense to go for the hatch first. As I say that, it's going to be a hatch opener. What do I mean by that? The drone is moving out. The drone is moving out, and we are primed to go for a hatch block. So it should be a hatchery into a second hatchery. We should not be throwing down our gases or spawning pool yet. The goal here is to disrupt the opener of the Protoss. If the drone does roll in, and we're going for the hatchery, there is no block, there is nothing to stop the hatchery, and it will be thrown down. So it is a double hatch opener here from StarKiller. The downside is that this does delay the spawning pool, and it delays the gas geyser, but it's worth it here as we can just drone up quite heavily and delay the economy of the Protoss. Now, the downside is that we're forcing the Protoss player to throw down the second gateway, to invest into Zealots, to invest into earlier Adepts, and to invest into an army. This means that after this after this hatchery is dealt with, StarKiller is going to be a little bit vulnerable back at home, and it's going to be on StarKiller to survive the counterattack. So there's layers to this. Again, this is not an all-in, this is just a more economic opener at a StarKiller just to disrupt the economy of his opponent. And he has to make sure he has queens, he has lings to defend. But now, there we go, we have our Zealot chipping away. It's going to be Stalkers, not Adepts, to reinforce this. A bit of everything, actually. 1-1-1, Zealot, Adept, and Stalker. Proxy pylon being set up, so AppleJuice is getting ready for the counterattack. So this is going to hit like a truck here. We're going for a 3-gate response. We're going for the Evo block here. StarKiller, quick moves. Cancels, goes for the Evo chamber. Will delay the expansion even further, but the reality is that we're not expanding. We're going for a 1-base all-in. AppleJuice's response is to go for an all-in. We're rallying everything across the map. Stalkers, Adepts. We're going to be able to reinforce as well once Warp Gate is done. Evo chamber does complete, and we just ignore the Evo chamber. We ignore it, we move out, and back at home, we need defenses. Okay, with Spine Crawlers are on the way. StarKiller, he has recognized something is wrong. He doesn't know that there's a proxy, but he knows that something is wrong, something is awry. I'm loving the choice for the Spine Crawler. Queens are amassing, Link Speed is on the way. We're still mining gas for, I imagine, +1 melee. And we're cutting workers at 22. 22 drones for StarKiller. Spine Crawler does finish. Do we get a surround? Just barely not. No surround. There's that melee upgrade on the way. We're investing into mass Ling. Ooh, the Lings are punished though. StarKiller overextends. How many was that? That was 6 Lings. 6 Lings for nothing. It's a lot of Lings falling. And here we go. It's going to be a 4-gate 1-base all-in. We have 1 gateway in the main. We have 2 gateways in the natural and 1 gateway proxied. We can reinforce with 4 Stalkers at a time. Link speed isn't quite done yet, and it's only 1 spine. Where's the second queen? Ah, the queen in the main. The boys are being pulled. Lings, they collapse on in. They do catch one of the Adepts, but the Stalker count is getting higher and higher. Stalker count getting insane. Okay, second queen is on the way. We do have a transfuse. The Lings, they do collapse on the army. Okay, very nice round. We take down one of the Stalkers before pulling back. Adepts have come in to reinforce. Queens have arrived. Very careful control here at a Starkiller. Has to preserve those queens. Does have to preserve them. Shuts down another and another Stalker. Big pickoffs. Again, usually we want the Adepts in front. The Adepts, they should be tanking for the Lings. Tanking the Lings for the Stalkers, I should say. As Stalkers are that much more vulnerable, that much more fragile. Bailey Nest. Lair is on the way as well for Starkiller. Bold move to go for the Lair. Lings, they collapse on the Zealots. Pulling back once again. Do we have a transfuse? Oh, the Queen is looking quite vulnerable. We have a transfuse on the Spine Crawler. Queen pulls back. There we go. The Queen in the main base is coming down to support as well. Adepts, they will threaten the Shade. But we do not commit. Oh my god. Plus transfuse. We don't quite commit to the Shade here. Queen's doing what they can. And it looks like Starkiller he's holding. He's going to shut down the Zealots. He can get on top of those Stalkers. Doesn't quite commit. But at this point, Starkiller can drone. I would not be opposed to Starkiller droning. With two Spine Crawlers, 3 Queens, and the amount of Ling main that we have, we should be perfectly safe and sound. But clearly, Starkiller, he wants more. And GG gets called. The writing is on the wall. Starkiller has defended, and Starkiller was getting ready for a counterattack. Starkiller takes game number... Oh, I didn't update the score. Starkiller takes game number 2 and the series. GG. GG, well played. GG, well played. Starkiller will take the series. I apologize for not updating the score in the screen. I do apologize. It was my pleasure. Oh no, you're an animal. It's the sad sack. But Starkiller does take the series 2-0 and does advance on into the next round. My condolences to AppleJuice. Again, AppleJuice had to kind of dance to the tune of Starkiller's music. Starkiller was being very chaotic and very aggressive throughout Game 1 and Game 2. And AppleJuice had a hard time adjusting to the chaos of Starkiller. GG.